Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to an update video. I am here today to give an update on what I worked on for cross stitch in the end of February into the beginning of March. I have a small amount of knitting, I have a little bit of purchases, what's in the bag, and then I'm also going to go into a tiny little bit of plans of what I'm going to do next week. So I'm going to start with cross stitch though. And in February, I was doing Finish February. I had picked a few charts that I want to get finished this year, and I was just focusing on working only on those charts. I did end up having two finishes in February, which was Persona 5 here, and I also finished the Red Ship of Lesser Commitment. I'll insert a picture just in case you missed that video. And then in the last week, I did not have any finishes though, which I kind of expected because the charts I was working on are slightly larger. They had a lot more to do. And so I knew that they wouldn't be a finish in February, but I think I might pull them back out in April and try and finish them in April. So the first one that I will show you is the Very Viking Stitch Along by Quaternion Creations. And for all charts, I will be inserting pictures of what they will look like finished and where I was the last time you saw it. So here is the Very Viking Stitch Along. And I decided that I wanted to work on the border and make sure that the border all lined up perfectly, and then I can work on filling in the rest. I am now at over 50% on this chart, which is pretty good because at the beginning of the year, I think I was only at like 19% or something. It was under 20. So I was under 20%. Now I'm at 50%. I feel like that's pretty good when you consider, like I said, at the beginning, it wasn't that far. And I am stitching this using Anchor Floss in the color 72. And I am stitching it 2 over 2 full cross on 28 count Whisper Zweigart. So here it is, and it's just, I love it so much. And I also managed to figure out the sewing method when I was stitching this chart, which was also exciting because I'd wanted to figure that out for a while. And so that means I don't have to have a hoop if I wanted to travel and bring this project somewhere when I actually go places. I don't go places that often, so I don't know where I think I'm gonna like be traveling to that I need to do this, but it's nice because the sewing method, obviously you don't need you can use a hoop. I have seen people do it with a hoop. It's just nice because like for a while, like this part was hurting from pulling the threads, and with the sewing method there's less of the like pulling as much because just the way you do it, you're only going like this and you're not actually pulling as far, if that makes sense. I don't know if it made sense, but it definitely feels better if you start to get any like repetitive movements from stitching where you're just stick and stabbing. It's a different movement, so that's nice about that. The next chart I have to show is Crystal Palace, which is by Mandarin's Designs. I don't remember where this chart was at the beginning of the year. I should have looked it up, but I can insert where it was at the beginning of the year. And I think I'm at 60% now on this chart, so I'm happy with that. I managed to finish almost all of the full crosses. There's only like 200 full crosses left, and it's all like in this background area here. There will be like little spots there, and it's full crosses that are using a DMC metallic, so it'll be like a little bit of like star shininess in the background. And so I'm saving those full crosses until I finish the half crosses. But yeah, most of what's left is half crosses, which go very quick. I only worked on this chart like 2 days. I did like the full crosses here one of the days, and then I did a bunch of half crosses the other day, and I think I did like 2,000 half crosses in a day because I wasn't really doing anything else. I didn't have anything going on. And so I was able to do quite a few in one day. So if I just focus on it in April, like I said, is when I want to pull it back out. It shouldn't take me that long to get it finished, and hopefully I can get it finished. This is on 16 or 18 count, I can't remember which. And I dyed this fabric myself using Rit dye in neon yellow with a splash of blue. It's beautiful. I love it so much. I did end up replacing a couple of the Krynic colors. It uses 3 colors. I had one of the colors, which was a blue, which it's only used for like a few stitches. There's like a shiny blue in there. And then I did not have the right gold, so I just used a different gold that I had for Kita. And then it also called for a DMC color that was equivalent to like Krynic 32, which was basically just like a metallic white. And so I just used Krynic for that. So there's Krynic, the shiny like white Krynic down here. You can't really tell that it's shiny right here, but if you get a light on it, you can see. So This is getting into March now because I did that in February. And then for March, I pulled out my Happy Planner and I looked at what charts I have written down. Hold on. At the beginning of March, I wrote down charts that I wanted to work on for this month. And one of the charts was Sun and Stars. I wanted to work on it for 2 days, so I did that. And I actually decided that I'm going to be quitting this chart. Sun and Stars is a chart from Tilton Crafts. It's discontinued. It was like a limited edition thing. They had Sun and Stars, and they also had like an Aquaman chart at the same time, so it was like a Jason Momoa thing, I think. And I'm not happy with the way that Sun and Stars is stitching up. I knew from the mock-up that there was going to be some issues because there were areas that were really dark, there were areas that didn't have a lot of detail, and there was also some areas on Daenerys's face that didn't look like they blended great. And so I decided to try and go and stitch one of the areas that was supposed to have detail, and so I went to his eye, and it's just, you don't see the detail. Let me get this bark thread off his face. This is his eye area here. There's supposed to be his eyebrow in here, which you can kind of see part of his eyebrow, but you can't see the rest of it. There's supposed to be his eyebrow scar, and there's just not a lot. And it's also just, it's really dark. And a lot of there's multiple browns that are used in that area, but they all look pretty much the same. So it's just not turning out, which is fine because, like I said, I knew from the mock-up that it wasn't looking amazing, and I think it's just like there might not be enough browns in the DMC line to make that chart work perfectly, which it is what it is. But I have other charts that I would rather work on that are stitching up much better. I think that my Maxie and Gad charts have had me like spoiled on faces because there is so much detail in like Autumn Harmony and in Mariner from Maxie and Gad that I'm just like, if I'm not seeing detail in something, I don't enjoy it as much, you know? So I did that, and then after that I moved on to the next thing on the list for March, which was Stardew Winter. I want to get it to 25% this month, and so I pulled that out. Stardew Winter is a chart from Glitch Stitch AU. It's like their charts based on the game Stardew Valley, which is just a cute little farming like life simulator, and this is obviously the winter one. I want to get to 25% before winter is over, which spring is coming very quickly. It's in what, like the 20th, somewhere around there, so I really need to get this to 25% before then. But I am loving it. I started the month at 7% and I am at 13% right now, and so I need to do, I think it's like another 2,000 and something stitches to get to my 25%. But that shouldn't take me too long, I don't think, because that are like patches of color and those go fairly quick. So there was that, and I think that is all the cross stitch that I have to show. Next I will go to my plans for next week. So for next week I'm going to continue working on Stardew Winter. I want to get that to 25% hopefully this week, and then I'll have the rest of March to do kind of what I want. And then the other chart that was on my list to work on for March is Heaven on Earth, which is from Charting Creations, and I want to work on that for 2 days, so I'm going to be pulling that chart out, and here is where I am on Heaven on Earth. I really want to keep working, I think, on the building because like the sky is kind of boring. I don't really want to work on that. If I want to make a lot of progress, the sky is a good area to go because it's a lot of blocks of color, so you can do a lot of stitches in a short amount of time. But I really kind of want to start seeing some details just to see how it's going to turn out, because you never know how charts are going to turn out. So that's, I think, where I'm going to go on that, and that will just be 2 days. So, and that is all the plans for next week. And next I will do haul this. So I've been trying not to buy cross stitch stuff, and I feel like I've done fairly well. I still haven't bought any charts. I have looked at charts, but I haven't bought any. I don't plan on buying any charts unless something crazy happens, because I'm just happy with what I am stitching right now. But I did buy, I don't know if you'll be able to see, a bunch of anchor floss because Michaels is clearancing them out in the US, I think. So my store had them on clearance. I've seen people on Facebook talk about them being on clearance. My sister said that her Michaels had them on clearance, and her Michaels did not have very much, so she got some but not a lot. And the way it is the big spools, which is how many yards? 32 yards. These were on clearance for 50 cents, and then the smaller ones were on clearance for 25 cents. These are 10 yards. There wasn't that many of the big spools at my store, but they had quite a few of the little ones, and so I just grabbed a bunch that are in colors I like. So I got a lot of purples. I love purples, and so I'm gonna have to figure out something eventually to do with them, which means I eventually will need to get a chart that's not like a full coverage chart so I can actually like substitute colors in. But I figured that for the price, why not get them? Plus, if they clearance them out and don't get them again, then I won't have an opportunity to get them again. So I got my floss, which was exciting. And then the knitting is the next thing I will do, which will be quick. I had been working on the Sub Pop tee for a very long time. I started it last year sometime in the fall, and it is by Sarah K. Gordon on Ravelry. And the last time I showed it, I was still working on the body. There was where I was. I finished the body, got that off. I can insert a picture somewhere of trying it on after I finished the body before I started the sleeves. And then I started the sleeves, so yay, sleeves. Sleeves are very boring, and so I've been kind of slow going on that. I have been stitching on this when I watch The Last of Us because it's easier to knit when I watch that than it is to cross stitch. You know, cross stitch takes more, like, you have to focus more on like a screen for cross stitch to look at your chart, whereas for this I can just kind of knit and actually watch more. So that's what I've been doing. I am using Holst Garn in the color Ember. I have a huge cone of this, so I'm going to be knitting everything in this color apparently. But I like it so far. It's just going to be like a basic raglan long sleeve tee, but that's what I wanted. I wanted just something cozy and basic to wear because that's really what I wear more. I don't wear a lot of like fancy things. And so like I'll see a lot of knit things that look very fancy, but it's like I don't have anywhere to wear that, whereas I would wear a basic long sleeve a lot, I think. So that is my knitting, and I think that's it for crafts, but I could do a little bit of games. I got this from the library. It is Layton's Mystery Journey, and these are games. It's based off of, there's a game from the 3DS called Professor Layton. They are like mystery puzzle games, so there's a mystery going on, like a murder or like something like that, but then you also do little puzzles along the way, and it's just like a fun, relaxing game. It's not like stressful or anything, and so it's just been a good time, and I got it from the library, so I have to play it quickly. I can't really like take a lot of time, so that's meant like less stitching because I want to get this finished so I can return it. But it's a good game. I love the Layton series. They're actually coming out with a new Professor Layton game sometime. They announced the game, but it doesn't have a release date yet. But I'm looking forward to it because these were just really fun games because they're just easy and relaxing and not stressful. Some games are stressful. Like The Last of Us, I started to play The Last of Us, the video game, and it stressed me out so bad. The zombie thing scared me. Trying to find resources to like get like bullets and stuff scared me. It was stressful. So this is not stressful. I like that. I've also been reading. There's a book series that I got from the library called, it's just called Knitting Mysteries. I can't remember who it's by, but the first book is called Knit 1, Kill 2, and it's just a great little like cheesy mystery series that has like knitting just involved. Like a lot of the times they're like talking and stuff, and one of the people in the book owns a knitting store, so they talk a lot about knitting. The girl learns to knit. She wants to knit this beautiful sweater, and so like just in the background of the mystery is they'll just be like knitting sweaters, like, oh my god, who did this? And it's like just ridiculous, but I love it. And so I started the second one in the series, which is called Needled to Death, and I like it. It's just relaxing, and so that's what I have been doing the last couple weeks. I hope everyone has been doing well, and I hope to be back next week, hopefully, with an update video. The reason why I didn't update last week was because I had a cold, plus my kids were home from school for midwinter break, and then it was also my son's birthday last weekend, so there's a thing on my phone. So it was just busy. But that's all that's been going on. Hopefully I'll be back next week with an update video to show my progress on Stardew Winter and Heaven on Earth and whatever else I work on, because I'm going to be at my parents' house this weekend, which means I need an easy project for there. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet though, so we'll see what I end up doing. And thank you for watching. Bye everyone.